So, what happens when a big company tries to use fear to shut people up? Well, 9 times out of 10, it works. But this is a story about that 10th time, the time they picked the absolute wrong person, and how that one individual turned their threats into a global headline. Let's dive in.
So a big company threatens to come after you, and your public reaction is this. Oh my God, this is amusing me. Not fear, not even a little bit of caution, just pure amusement. And you know what? That one reaction tells you everything you need to know about where this story is going.
And that's because this story, it's not really just about a hack. No, this is about strategy. It's about resilience. It's a playbook for how you turn the tables on a giant. And it's a fascinating look at what happens when someone simply refuses to back down. All right, so our story kicks off with some classic, digital age irony. A cybersecurity firm, a company called Beprime, gets hit with a massive data breach. But it's not the hack that's the real story here. It's what they did next that turned a bad tech problem into this huge public showdown. And look, the breach was bad. I mean, we are talking 12.6 gigs of client data leaked. We're talking network controls for huge brands getting exposed, even access to surveillance cameras for companies that operate Starbucks and Domino's in Mexico. Yikes! But instead of, being transparent, Beprime went on the attack. They put out a press release basically threatening legal action against anyone who dared to report on it. Now, a threat like that, it's designed to do one thing: make people shut up. But for this one guy, a researcher named Alberto Hill, it wasn't a threat. It was more like an invitation. It just lit a fire under him. And this wasn't some angry, impulsive tweet either. Oh no, this was cold, calculated, and you could tell he had a step-by-step plan to just dismantle their threat right out in the open. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's amazing. On one side, you've got the company's blunt threat. We have identified you and are coming for you. And on the other, Hill's public reply, right on their own LinkedIn page. He's all polite, professional, just a concerned citizen trying to help. I wish you a speedy recovery. The sarcasm is just dripping off every single word. It's a total masterclass in how to fight back with a smile. And this is the core of it, right? I mean, who hears "we're coming for you" from some big corporation and decides, you know what, I'm going to poke this bear even harder? Well, the answer to that question lies in a past that completely, and I mean completely, redefines the meaning of fear. See, to get why he wasn't scared, you have to understand what this man has already survived. This wasn't just bravado. It was a perspective that was forged in a very, very real and very dark place. I mean, just take a look at this timeline. He was wrongfully imprisoned for 17 months. During that time, he was put through psychological torture, denied medical care to the point where he fell into a coma. The absolute worst had already happened to him. So really, after surviving all of that, how scary can a letter from a lawyer actually be? And this quote from him just says it all, doesn't it? I already vacationed in hell. When you've already hit rock bottom and fought your way back up, your entire perspective on what's risky, what's a threat, it's just fundamentally changed forever. Okay, so that whole horrific experience, it didn't just make him fearless. It did something more. It gave him a playbook. It taught him how to fight back using a very specific and now very proven strategy. What he does is something called asymmetric warfare, and it's a fascinating idea. Basically, it's a strategy where you, as the smaller player, you don't fight the giant on their terms. No way. You use speed, you use radical transparency, and you use public pressure to completely flip the power dynamic. You set the pace, and suddenly they're the ones who are forced to react to you.
And man, the results, they really do speak for themselves. This table here shows his undefeated record, and it's honestly worth just pausing on for a second. He took on the entire justice system of Uruguay and forced them to change their laws. He beat a trillion-dollar company, Meta, to restore an actress's account and save her cancer diaries. And in this case with Beprime, he forced them into total public silence and completely owned the international story. He's 3 for 3 against giants.
Okay, so this brings us to what's happening right now, because this isn't just some interesting story from the past. Hill has now turned his attention to Mexico, where the exact same kind of intimidation tactics he just defeated are being used on a massive national scale against journalists and researchers.
You see, the situation in Mexico is getting really tense. The government there has suffered these huge data breaches that have affected millions of people. Critical infrastructure is basically being treated like a soft target for hackers. And on top of all that, when journalists and researchers try to report on these huge issues, they're being silenced with legal threats and now a proposed new gag law.
And get this, just look at the stakes here.
This proposed law could mean up to 5 years in prison, just for using AI to publish something that even mentions a politician. I mean, the stakes for free speech are just incredibly high, which is exactly why having a playbook for how to fight back is so important right now.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The crucial point is that this whole story, even though it's taking place in this world of hacking and corporate threats, it's really about something universal, something we all face.
At its heart, fear is a tool. It's a weapon, and it's designed to do one thing: make you self-censor, to make you stay silent, to make you give up control. That threat from Beprime, it was designed to make people back down and shut up. But Hill's playbook, using transparency, using public pressure, it shows that the minute you confront that threat, you can flip the power dynamic completely on its head.
And so that leaves us with a really critical question, doesn't it? This story proves that a playbook for fighting back actually exists. So the real question is, when we face our own giants in our own lives, do we have the courage to actually use it? What does it take for us to turn that pressure, that fear, into action?